Hey guys, it's Mr. Lucky. And last week we made a really neat artwork in which we cut apart and glued together some papers of, from like different construction paper, kind of like you see here, to make a playground. We're going to use that same process today when we design a plate of food. Now, these lessons that we've been working with over the last couple weeks and for the next few weeks are all about exploring who we are as people. People like to play together, people like to eat together, and people like to do all kinds of things that we'll look at kind of as our big theme over the next few weeks. What are some different things that kind of show who we are? And so today, when you create your plate of food, I want you to think about that, right? Like, what kind of foods does your family enjoy? Do you enjoy that kind of show a little bit about you, right? I like chicken, that's kind of a thing that kind of does tell a little bit about you. Maybe you don't like meat at all. Maybe you like all vegetables. Maybe you're vegetarian. That's another thing that might show a little bit about you. So think about those things as you create. Now, in your packet of materials, you have a piece of paper, right? That is kind of a little rectangle, and it's white. And this paper here is what I think would be a good size paper to make a plate out of. So I'm going to go ahead and either start in cutting right away, the shape that I want to make, or if I'd rather plan it out, I'll just take a pencil and gently draw. Now when I'm drawing, I'm going to draw with really light lines. Now one trick to making a sort of a circle shape is to kind of turn your paper a bit as you're drawing. See, now this sand is pretty still, right? And I'm just doing short lines. And as I go, I'm turning the paper.
Right, really lightly. Right, just kind of curving my hand and arching the line, arcing the line. Right, and just turning as I go, a little bit at a time. And it should make a nice rounded shape.
It won't be a perfect circle. There's lots of other tools and ways that we could draw a perfect circle if you want. And if you want to experiment with that, like inventing your way to make a perfect circle, that's awesome. But this is pretty good, right? It's pretty nice and round. It's a little bit oval, but not too bad. I think it's good enough for a plate for me. So I'm going to go ahead and cut as best I can on that line. And again, as I'm cutting, turning that paper, it just makes it a lot easier to turn those corners if you try to turn the paper instead of turning that scissors.
As I go, I'm kind of keeping an eye on my shape. And if there's little corrections that I want to make to my original line there, I can certainly do that. Little tiny trim there for the edge sticking out.
I've got my plate. Now, a lot of times plates come with decorations on them, right? Or sometimes lines or however you want to do that. A lot of times you'll see a circle inside the plate, and that circle kind of indents a little bit and goes down. And that little circle on the inside there,
again, we can make it by slowly turning our plate, trying to keep our line about the same distance away from the edge as we do that, just little lines.
so this little indented circle in the middle of most plates is there just in case there's some like juicy sauce or something, and so that's where that sauce will go. It'll stay down in that little area. It's a specially designed little spot on your plate to hold any juices or sauces that might come out of your food so that they don't go all over the table, right? So there we go. I've sketched that out with my pencil. If I want that line to be a little darker, I could use a marker to go over it. I kind of like it how it is, though. I think it's okay. Next, let's make some food, right? We can use any of the colored papers to cut out and glue down our food. So hopefully you've got your glue stick handy. Let's see. Well, one of the things that I really like to eat is kale. And kale is a green color, so I'm going to use my green. If you don't have the exact colors of your food, don't worry. Just get it as best you can with what you got. If you're at home and you have access to like your recycle bin where there might be some other colors, handy in the paper, one thing that I did was I found some magazine pages that have nice colors like this brown here. I imagine like if I cut out along that like log line, it might make a nice little hot dog maybe, Just kind of imagining what those colors and shapes might become if you cut them out. It's possible too, if you flip through, if you find a magazine that someone has thrown into the recycle bin, maybe you'll even find some food in there, right? That would be kind of another way to do the project is if you actually found food to cut out, right? This back has a nice green color. Maybe I could use some of that green. I don't know. There's some blue. Maybe there's something, maybe Blue Moon ice cream. I don't know. So just use your imagination, finding those colors that you need, and then you'll have your food. And you can kind of put your food on your plate, you know, however you want it to be. All right, so with that, I'm just gonna keep creating and making my whole plate full of food. Oh, that was super fun. Oh, I hope you guys have as much fun as I did making your paper food today. I made kale here, and one thing I thought about after I glued it down is I could even add the texture by crinkling my paper. So if I crumple it all up like this and make a lot of wrinkles in it, like real kale, it actually does have wrinkles. So then if I uncrinkle it here, there, look at that, my paper looks a little more like crinkly kale. Then I could glue that down, and then it would kind of pop up off my plate, kind of like real food pops up off my plate. So that might be kind of a fun thing to try too, is having the paper actually come up a little bit from your plate. I could even take some of the corners here of my French fries and lift those up a little bit to make them kind of pop up off the plate, you know, so make it look a little more realistic even that way. Maybe even unfold part of the hot dog bun, make that stick up. Then it really looks like more three-dimensional food. So have fun with that, and you know, if you want it glued down flat, you certainly can, but having it stick up a little bit kind of gives it another dimension. All right, friends. Well, I'm excited to see what you make for your paper food, and I can't wait to see it on Seesaw. So make sure you take a picture of what you make and put it in the Seesaw lesson. Have fun, take care, and you're making me hungry. Oh boy.